Lately, there has been quite the debate regarding the monetization of mods in the Minecraft community. There are a lot of arguments being thrown around about it, either being moral or immoral, or legal or illegal, and I decided I wanted to throw my hat into the ring. There is more to this subject than you might think. There are a lot of differing opinions online, and I like to discuss the issue from the perspective of an artist and how this issue can affect artists. But what sparked all this? Why am I talking about it? Well, a couple months ago, I was looking to get a plugin for my Minecraft server called Interactions, a plugin that allows for interactive dialogue with NPCs in Minecraft. Now, you could do this with vanilla using some commands, but it's just a lot easier and faster with some plugins. It's a very useful plugin, but the owner is charging $7.50 for it. Seeing this enraged me, and I had to really think about how scummy this practice feels. But a feeling is little more than intuition mixed with reaction. I didn't really put too much thought into this, the sort of disdain that I had, and I just kind of let it go after a while. Then, fellow YouTuber Jet Starfish uploaded a video titled Minecraft's Exploration Problem. It's a well-edited video essay discussing the various issues with Minecraft's exploration and some of Jet's solutions to the problems he sees with it. I do think it's important to note that nowhere in the video does Jet say that these are his personal issues with the game, but rather he treats them as though they are factually bad. And the video covers very little nuance. Kind of reminds me of my first progression video, honestly, although I think I gave a little more nuance than him. The video had over 1 million views in just 10 days, and I think now it's sitting at 1.2 million. Tons of people liked the video, and it's pretty easy to see why. It's funny, it's well edited, it got good pacing, and overall it's just an enjoyable video. Within this video, Jet shows off his own mod that he's producing to give out to the community for $8 a month, locked behind his Patreon. Just as a little side note here, he did just now make it free, like last night, so that kind of might throw off parts of the script, but just keep that in mind as I talk about this mod, that it is now free, but it wasn't when I wrote this, so keep that in mind. As soon as I heard this, my entire view of the video and that spark of disdain I felt over Interactions plugin a few months ago came back in full force. Suddenly, what felt like a cool video essay to discuss genuine criticisms of the game seemed more like an advertisement for a paid mod than anything else. That being said, I have spoken with Jet, and his intentions with this video seem very clear. He has issues with Minecraft's exploration, and he wanted to make a mod that solves those issues that he sees. And some of the changes he recommends in that video are good changes. Changes to things like minecarts or XP bottles are just really good ideas. Jet hired someone to code this mod for him, costing him, quote, hundreds of dollars in his own words. Jet had these ideas, but didn't really know how to put them into the game, so he decided that paying someone else was the best route to take. In this respect, I totally understand putting the mod behind a paywall. If I threw hundreds of dollars at something, I would definitely want to see a return on my investment. To me, that logic is sound, and I can't really blame Jet Starfish for thinking that was the optimal route. However, this is not the optimal route, and I want to discuss why that is. When I make the following points, please understand that I'm not just attacking Jet's personal mod, I'm not singling him out, although I may do so at relevant times because it is a very recent and very relevant example. This is about all mods that are created to be sold as a product. After talking to Jet directly, it seems that he had a passionate idea, and because of his ignorance in coding, and same here buddy, he hired out to have it made. There was this argument going around that Jet only made this video to serve as an advertisement for his mod. The keen viewers might realize that that very thought is what first entered my mind as soon as he mentioned the Patreon in that video. But with a little more digging and a little more nuance, it is clear to me that Jet had this idea first, and then had to find a way to get a return on his investment second. Some may argue that the ad revenue from that video will have more than paid back enough to Jet. Jet argues that the video would have been the same with or without the mod. I disagree a little bit. I mean, your visuals certainly wouldn't be the same, and obviously you wouldn't be shelling out to your Patreon a little bit, but it's clear that the mod was born out of the video, not the other way around. There was no way for Jet to know if the video would do well. You can make an extremely well-edited video and have it go nowhere. YouTube is kind of a massive gamble like that. It is by pure chance that videos get picked up. Like, yeah, titles, flashy editing, and thumbnails can help all that, but beyond that, it's just kind of left up to the YouTube overlords to bless your video with relevance, and Jet got lucky. To summarize this mini section on Jet Starfish, I'll say this. Jet made a video essay and created a mod to go alongside it. As a response to his investment in a coder, he decided to put the mod behind a paywall. I do not believe this is the correct move to make, though it is one I could totally understand. I think anyone online who claims Jet is lying in his video or only made the video as an advertisement are making claims that simply cannot be proven. This includes the haze. While I think the Hayes' video was an excellent rebuttal to the points made in Jet's exploration video, Hayes went a step too far in outright claiming that Jet lied or purposely omitted things to make the game sound worse, and his paid mod better. It's impossible to know this for certain, and I don't think Jet would ever admit to it if you asked him because, oh my god, who would? Anyway, that's my main thoughts on the Jet Starfish mod situation. Okay, let's talk about the monetization of mods. In this great debate, I'm being hyperbolic there are a couple lines of thinking. Those who approve of monetization claim that mod developers are artists and thus should be compensated for their work. Those who oppose this monetization claim that it is either immoral or outright illegal, or a mix of both. To the extent that either side is more correct on this issue than the other, and where my beliefs line up in this, I'd say those who oppose the monetization of mods are both morally and legally correct. First, let's go over the legal side of things. When you purchase Minecraft, you agree to an end-user license agreement, or a EULA. This is an agreement between you, the player, and the user, and Microsoft, the owner of Minecraft. This document is more or less a legal contract that outlines what you, the purchaser, are allowed to do with Minecraft as a product. In this EULA, you can find the following quote: "Any mods you create for Minecraft Java Edition from scratch belong to you, including pre-run mods and in-memory mods, and you can do whatever you want with them as long as you don't sell them for money / try to make money from them, and so long as you don't distribute modded versions of the game." End quote. This pretty squarely outlines what you are and are not allowed to do with a mod. Mojang recognizes that yes, mod developers are artists and says they have full ownerships of the mods that they code, however, they want the mods to be free to the community. To this extent, Jet Starfish's mod was undoubtedly in direct violation of the EULA. Under Jet's video in a pinned comment, Jet wrote the following in response to people calling out that his mod violates the EULA. Quote, "Technically, no. I'm not selling the mod. It's a reward for my patrons. Despite this, Mojang has still gone after people for putting their mods on Patreon in the past, so if that happens, I will most likely have to stop developing this mod as well as future mods, as I won't be able to pay the developers for their work." End quote. This quote demonstrates that Jet either did not read the EULA before writing this, or that he lied about it. I'm not going to sit here and claim one or the other, but it is just important to note that those are the only two outcomes. After I read this comment, I felt a need to DM him in Discord with the quote I just showed you from the EULA. It's pretty important that he knows exactly what it says, although I imagine I probably wasn't the first one to say it to him, so I apologize, Jet, if I was extremely redundant. The EULA is pretty blatant in saying that you are not allowed to make money from the mod. Mojang is not so dumb that they would allow devs to lock their mods behind a Patreon as a reward. That is clearly trying to entice people to buy the Patreon for the reward, and thus is making money off the mod rather than directly selling it. Mojang definitely had the foresight to see that people would try to weasel their way around this rule, and I'm happy they did have that foresight. There is something else in Jet's quote that concerns me, but I'll come back to it later. Just keep in mind what he said in that quote that I showed. And in case you're worried I took him out of context, here is the full comment. It's up on screen now. Feel free to pause it and read it. I think the legality of this practice of putting mods behind paywalls, that is pretty clear. You're not allowed to do it. When you purchase Minecraft, you agree that you will not do it. And if Mojang deems that your mod is in violation of the EULA, you'll be taking it down or getting sued. Either way, not a good look. Beyond the legal argument, there is the moral argument. This argument is the one I find to be far more interesting because there is actually some nuance here, and it's not so just black and white as in you're not allowed to do it because we said so. I'll start by stating my full position and then maybe backing up each part of it. I think mods for games should be free. If developers want to be compensated for work, then optional donations should be allowed. Locking a mod behind a paywall in any capacity is objectively bad. Even things like early access to updates is bad if you ask me, given as it gives more of an incentive for people to buy your mod rather than donate to your work because they enjoy it. Okay, now let me explain this. Mods are essentially fanfiction, kind of a hot take, but fanfiction is when the reader of a book or series of books enjoys them so much that they write their own stories using the same setting, characters, or a mix of both. Fanfiction is an art form and perfectly legal. However, the author of that story has full ownership over the intellectual property and thus has a say in what is and what is not allowed with that property. If the author says, "Hey, feel free to write your own stories using my book as a base and sell it online," then fanfiction writers are in the clear. They can write and sell fan-made stories. If the author says the opposite, then the fanfiction writers cannot sell their stories online. Oftentimes, writers love the idea of fanfiction as it means that someone loves the world and story that they have built so much that it inspires them to create their own ideas within it. That's really cool stuff. Anyway, if I were to write a fan fiction story about, say, I don't know, Harry Potter, if I then went and sold that book online or anywhere else, J.K. Rowling would have every legal right to sue me for that action. It is her franchise, her stories, her characters, her art. If she wants to ensure that the quality of the stories are written in good and well thought out, then she has every reason to make sure that not everyone out there is writing their own Harry Potter fanfiction and selling it. After all, the fans didn't create these characters or settings and thus are not entitled to ownership or profit made from those things. The plot of that fanfiction and even new characters or new settings could be seen as the fans' original artworks, of which they are entitled. However, the core concept of it would still be owned by J.K. Rowling, despite how detestable her politics are. To this extent, Minecraft mods are no different. When you develop a mod, you are developing something that sits on top of a foundation that you did not create, and thus you are not entitled profit from it. A common counter-argument to this is that Minecraft is not a series developed by one artist, but rather a corporation. Making mods and selling them isn't really hurting the corporation in any way. In fact, they themselves sell mods on the marketplace. This is all true, however, it leaves little room for nuance. While yes, the marketplace is objectively bad, it is their IP, and they have every legal right to say what gets done on it. In terms of Microsoft making it harder to mod Bedrock Edition, that sucks and it's shitty. But hey, Mojang's gotta make that money to pay the hundreds of people that work on Minecraft. Speaking of people, it is important to note that corporations do not develop games. People do. Developers are teams of people, or just a single person, who work on a project to give to the community. And Minecraft is probably one of the best examples of the good that comes from free continuous updates. Mojang could have said a long time ago that if you want the next update, you gotta fork over $10, and any mods that are made to replicate the update will be taken down. But they don't do that, and they likely never will. It is more likely that Minecraft development would stop entirely before they try selling updates to their community. In summation, Minecraft is developed by artists, by people. The IP is owned by Microsoft, however, it is still created and maintained by individual artists who work on it every day. Coders, people who deal with the media, the artists, all of it. It's all a part of the Minecraft project. Collectively, they have the same voice as an individual artist who can decide what they'd like done with their art. Maybe they don't actually have that because Microsoft owns it, but you get the idea. Beyond this, the act of selling a mod is antithetical to what Minecraft is about as a game. Minecraft is about creating your own experiences. Cool. Part of that is sharing it with others. From its inception, people would share cool builds with each other on forums or through screenshots or map files. These projects were always free and thus could be accessed by anyone who bought the game. It is important to not just appeal to tradition when making this argument, but there is the case to be made that mods being free traditionally is a good thing. It's good that Mojang and the community set the precedent of free mods at the beginning of Minecraft's development because it has allowed us to continually get interesting and free mods to the community. Old Minecraft mods like The Aether or Too Many Items are mods made out of love and passion for the game. Even Jet Starfish's mod is made out of love and passion for the game. These mods being free only adds to the amount of people who can experience it and maybe go on to create their own mods as a result of it. If we allow Minecraft mods to become something not made from love, but made from the idea that this is a market to make money in, what you will find is that all sorts of immoral acts will take place. Here are just a couple examples. A couple years ago, the Aether mod showed up on Minecraft Marketplace. However, it became clear very quickly that this was not the real Aether mod. It was Aether Dimension. And it wasn't even a dimension at that. It was a 5,000 by 5,000 world map with its own mobs, blocks, NPCs, biomes, etc., all based off of the very popular Aether mod. It was not made with the consent of the Aether devs who had not put their mod on the Minecraft Marketplace. This spurred outrage and caused many people to demand that the developer of the mod take it down or the marketplace entirely. They didn't do that. It's still up to this day. They simply dropped the Aether name, opting instead to call it Ether, which is much worse and equally shitty of them to do. Another fine example of this is the total theft of the resource pack, Faithful. You might notice that both of these things were in Ant Venom videos a few years back, and I'm not gonna lie, that's the only reason I remember them happening. Thanks, Taylor. Hi, lady. Did you just break in here? My cat just broke into the studio. The door was shut. How did you do that? Yeah? Really? Faithful is an old Minecraft texture pack that recreated the classic look just in a 32 by 32 bit style instead of the classic 16 by 16. It served as a simple bump in the resolution for those who thought the vanilla textures didn't quite have enough detail. Eventually, the creator of this pack stopped development, and it was picked up by someone else without the creator's consent, and then smacked onto the Minecraft marketplace, where it was sold for roughly $8 to $9. Oh, and the Ether Dimension was sold for like $10. That's kind of fucking insane. Yet again, another idea was blatantly stolen and put on the marketplace for a quick cash grab. And you see this all the time. There are so many like skin packs and other little things in the marketplace that were no doubt made without the consent of the person's likeness. I can't tell you how many Dream skin packs I've fucking seen on the marketplace. No doubt without Dream knowing about it. The point of all this is to say that once you create an environment where people can make money off their creations, bad actors will undoubtedly come in and try to scam people. If you're lucky, the company hosting this market will take such scams down, or force them to return the money to people who want refunds for being scammed. But I don't think Mojang has really done either of those things very often, if at all. I could be wrong though, you guys can put it in the comments if I am. I'm not going to try to make that claim. My fear is that once you require people to pay for mods, the moment that mod stops being profitable for a dev or a dev team, that mod will cease development. This is because the mod is not made from passion, but made from profit. This is where that Jet Starfish quote comes back, and it worries me. He said, "Despite this, Mojang has still gone after people for putting their mods on Patreon in the past. So if that happens, I will most likely have to stop developing this mod as well as future mods, as I won't be able to pay developers for their work." Jet is essentially holding this mod hostage. He is saying that if Mojang stops him from forcing people to pay for it, he will not develop mods anymore. To Jet's credit, it's also free now, so I don't know if this quote really matters, but the fact that he thought that at all is extremely worrying. It's also likely that Jet is working on some kind of early access model. As soon as his Patreon stops getting any money, which as of now it probably won't because he's quadrupled it, it is likely that he would stop development of this mod. After all, if he can't get a return on his investment, why continue to update it? Why even work on it? My argument to all this is that Jet should probably just learn to code. If you want to develop this and keep it up for free, then you should learn to do it yourself so that you're not spending money on it. Do not hold the mod hostage because you will not take the time to learn a new skill and thus cease development if Mojang says you're not allowed to violate their EULA. Or just make it open source and just let people update it themselves if you don't want to anymore. That is an equally fine and okay position to take. To be clear, I'm not saying it is bad for mod devs to stop developing their mods. That's fine. Projects need to end at some point and people will move on. What I don't like is this mentality of, if I can't make money on it, then I won't do it. It's a gross mentality that is antithetical to everything that Minecraft is about: free expression and community. I do not want to see Minecraft become a place for little capitalist fuckwits to try to make a quick buck. And to be clear, I'm not accusing Jet or anyone specifically. Well, maybe those guys who made the Aether mod thing, but I'm not accusing anyone specifically of that exact thing. I want it to be a place for artists to share their creations, and if they want to make a little bit of money off of it, offer optional donations, but do not lock the latest versions of the mod behind that donation wall. Just have like a separate beta testers thing where people don't have to pay to try it out. Make it free. Just don't do it. Because if you do, you are essentially foregoing any sense of true donations. That is to say that people are no longer donating to you because they like your work, but because you've intentionally locked away a feature and they want that feature. Again, I'm not calling out Jet Starfish specifically here. I like the kid. He's a good dude and he's a very talented editor and he clearly has a passionate mind when it comes to improving Minecraft. I just deeply worry about people thinking they are entitled to profit off of what is essentially video game fanfiction. Anyway, this video wasn't made to hate on any particular artist, and I do think artists should be compensated for their work, if the work in question is entirely original and not fanfiction. I made this video because I wanted to provide the argument in favor of keeping Minecraft mods free. If you like this video, please consider subscribing or becoming a member. Also check out the second channel where I upload stream highlight clips and other non-scripted content. I want to get the channel to 1,000 subs so I can make a little bit of money off of that, and any amount of support you can give me helps a ton. Lastly, if you want to join my Discord below, please do. I'm currently making a Minecraft server that has a lot of altered mechanics to vanilla Minecraft in a fun and pretty unique way. Everything from health to enchanting is being overhauled in this server. All of it is entirely free, with, get this, optional donations. You know what else is free? Subscribing, and you should totally do it. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching this video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye!